Hey, welcome. It's Classic Guitar Rock, Jeremy and Rich.
Yay.
We wanted to get together, obviously, after a sad day yesterday, the passing of Ace Frehley. And we just wanted to spend some time talking about him. Please feel free to share your thoughts or comments in the chat as we do this as well. And so, and Rich, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what are the details of his passing? Have you read up? Yesterday there wasn't a whole lot of details.
Yeah, there's still not a whole lot, but from what I understood, he fell. He fell, and then he had bleeding on the brain. So that's why he was on life support. I know you were tracking the life support thing yesterday. I was not. I was busy yesterday, so I didn't see it. I came into the news that he'd passed away, and I'm like, what in that? But I think it was a fall on his tour. They canceled the tour. He went home. They put him on life support, and then he passed. And it was just a shocking thing.
Yeah,
unbelievable. And I'm thinking, what did he fall off of? I don't. Have you heard anything of what he fell off of?
I think he fell in his studio.
Was it the studio?
I
thought
think
it was
so.
the stage or backstage or on tour or something. But
yeah,
it said during his tour he fell or something like that. But studio.
And it was it was a shocker. And you know what's ironic? I mean, let's be honest. Ace had a history of he put some things into his body over the years that he probably shouldn't have. But
I think everybody did in that era.
over the last few years, I mean, he's been sober for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about that a lot. And it's just kind of, it's sad when you lose anyone, but
it really is. And you know what's really sad is that, well, it sucks. It's not really sad. Well, it's sad and it sucks. It's our era now. You know, we used to say, "Oh, Engelbert Humperdinck passed away."
Yeah.
Okay.
Who cares? Yeah.
I loved him. He was my favorite. Oh, I'm so sad. You know, and I'm like, now I get it though, right? It's like, oh man, Ozzy Osbourne. Oh, you know, and then Ace Frehley. I mean, that's still a huge name, and he has done a lot of stuff for the metal and rock industry. You know, just everything. And man, just looking back on it, I bet Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons are going to be feeling a little guilty that they were so against each other for so many years.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things that has jumped out at me, and I wanted to talk about. But by the way, my mom was a big Engelbert Humperdinck fan, so I grew up hearing Engelbert Humperdinck records.
Yeah, I know, me too.
I hear you mention that
when I drive my mom anywhere. Who's playing? Engelbert Humperdinck, or what's the other guy's name? There's another one that's like Engelbert Humperdinck. Oh man,
my mom, it was like Engelbert Humperdinck, Andy Williams.
Okay, no, that's
Johnny Mathis.
I know,
so I grew up hearing all that. But you said something that I think is so important.
What's that?
And that is the connection to our generation. So Ozzy and Ace, okay. Mm-hmm. These two, I was thinking about this. These are big ones because there have been lots of classic rock figures pass over the years. But to me, these two personally, I felt more than others just because these two artists were such a big part of my own growing up years. Right. And any of us that are kids, we have kids that are about around the same age. You know, they're in their late 20s now, maybe 30.
Yep.
You know, they are aware of Kiss. I mean, I always listen to classic rock. So my grown kids, they are aware of classic rock. They know who Kiss is, but they only know Kiss as like kind of a campy nostalgia.
A Halloween-y type of costume band, you know. Yeah.
Totally. But for us, if you were 10 years old in the 70s or 8 years old in the late 70s, I mean, Kiss mattered. Kiss was a big deal.
Yes, it's
not just musically, right? So think about this, Rich. This will make us feel really old. And anyone younger that's watching will think, man, these guys are fossils, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
We didn't have internet.
Nope.
we didn't have, phones. We probably didn't even have cable TV.
No.
Until like the late 70s, early 80s.
There was 4 channels, brother.
Four channels, dude.
What were they? 13, 5, 8, and 10. Okay, 5.
Yeah, it depends on where you live, right? I know when I grew up, we got 2, 4, 6, and 7.
Right.
Those were the
channel
numbers.
U was like the one you had to use the second knob.
The UHF, where you could,
where you dial it in.
You dial it in, and it was like someone doing a painting class.
Yeah. Or Kiss, the Kiss's movie.
Remember? Yeah, tell us that. Tell us about that.
So this was our generation. Kiss was like, let's think of this. Let's give an example of kind of a Gen X generation or this type of band, Gwar. Okay, Gwar. Let's say Gwar for this generation. But we're so desensitized to with blood and guts and just violence or whatever that it's not a big deal. It's like they laugh when they see Kiss. But back in the day, back in the 70s, Kiss was like a nightmare.
Yeah.
There was no way that you were supposed to watch Kiss. My mom wasn't having it. She wasn't having it at all. When I said, "Oh, Mom, Kiss has a show out. I need to see it." I know my friend Sean across the street, my buddy from when I was a kid, is going to watch it. His parents say yes. My mom said no. Well, why? Because Gene Simmons spits blood.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Nowadays it's like, are you serious? But back in the day, that was a big thing. Like Kiss did all these things, blowing fire, blood, dressed up as a bat or a demon and a Starman and whatever, and a cat or a tight the leather and chains, and nope. They weren't having that back in the day. Right. And my mom, I begged to see that movie. I finally got to see it when I was like 25, 30. I bought it and I said, "Oh, this is the worst movie I've ever seen." I'm so glad I didn't see it back in the day.
And here's a funny thing, Ace, what I loved about Ace, and Ace, to hear his voice, right? You hear it in interviews. He seriously sounds like Curly in the Three Stooges. I mean, that's how he talks. And they dubbed the voices in that movie. I don't know if you noticed this. They dubbed it. They didn't. They might have kept Paul's voice or something, but I think they dubbed most of them. And it was a dreadful, horrible, terrible movie.
I couldn't watch it for more than 10 minutes. I was like, okay, I gotta go.
Did it come out in 78? I think.
Yeah, it was in the 70s. It was in the late 70s.
And they showed it on network TV. I think it was on a Sunday night.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. I couldn't even watch it on TV.
Oh yeah,
it was. Go to your room. You're watching.
Totally. And I remember another thing. Probably around the same time, 2020. Remember the news show 2020? It was like 60 minutes.
Yep.
I'm Hugh Downs, and this is 2020.
Yeah, it's Hugh Downs.
Well, they did a story on Kiss.
Oh, okay.
And it was like,
like they're bad.
I mean, of course, it was like the whole, and of course, Gene especially, he played up the whole thing, man.
He loved it. He'd
be on. Remember the Merv Griffin show?
Oh yeah,
the Merv Griffin show. They had Gene on there, and of course, Gene just plays up the whole demon thing. And I mean, they were just, they were playing it to the hilt. But Kiss was huge. I mean, they were huge.
They were so big. And I didn't take them as serious because I even got into that stigma where I was listening to like, a Black Sabbath or whatever. And I was kind of the heavier type of situation. So Kiss to me was always kind of like the poppy clown band. You know what I mean? And I didn't take them seriously until 1980. 1980 is when I started getting serious about Kiss. Now, unfortunately, that was when Frehley took the picture on the album cover, but didn't play on the album, Creatures of the Night.
Oh,
that was like the Kiss album I actually bought. And I was like, all right, and I didn't find out till later that Ace Frehley wasn't even playing. He was on the
right.
But that was the year that he was like, you guys are going in a different direction I want to go in. I got to go. and I did not know that. But that's a great album, and that's what really got me into Kiss. And then when I listened back to it all, I like all the older stuff a lot better than the newer stuff.
Totally.
Glam metal, and it's all glam and poppy, and then you go back to Strutter and all those songs that is heavier, and just Detroit Rock City, just awesome song.
Yeah, and the whole, so many of the bands that are our age or slightly younger, for instance, the Foo Fighters or a lot of these bands, huge Kiss fans, and so you'll see them playing Kiss covers and all of that, and I mean, even the virtuoso guitarists, right? I mean, Kiss was never really thought of as like virtuoso musicians, of course not.
No.
But their impact was huge, and I think more kids. I mean, a generation before it was the Beatles. People saw the Beatles. I'm going to start a band.
Yep.
I think Kiss had that same effect on our generation. A lot of kids, I want to be in a band.
I want to be a rock star.
Yeah. And look at this comment from Zach here, Zachary. He says, my introduction to Kiss was when I was 7 years old, when my dad took me to see Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Okay, so he's a younger. That's nice.
He's younger. Right on, Zach. Keep listening.
Then I forgot about them until 97 when I bought the soundtrack to Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
And it goes on here. He says, whatever you may think of Kiss, they were like comic book superheroes from the Marvel universe.
That's
exactly what it is.
That is a great description. I totally agree with you, Zach.
Yeah.
They were a comic book superheroes. I agree 100%. And like I said, I didn't take them serious until Creatures of the Night. War Machine and I Love It Loud comes out. You're like, this is heavy.
And I Love It Loud. Ace is even in the video.
I know. What's that all about? It's nuts. That was a weird one, but that's he hit it. He hit the nail on the head. That's exactly how I pictured them and thought of them.
And in the 70s, Zach, you probably know this, but there actually was a Kiss comic book that Marvel put out that actually had blood from each member of the band mixed into the ink. That was the thing they marketed. Yeah. So they all, and there's pictures of it, right? Where they all get together to they put a drop of prick their finger and put a drop of their blood and mix it in the ink. Right. And so that's what you could buy. But I remember when the because we were always fascinated.
I remember that. I just remembered that. I was at a comic book store and saw that.
Yeah, there was the Kiss
referencing the comic thing. Yeah, the Kiss comic. Yeah.
And they were totally. Zach continued in that message. He said they mixed. It was Marvel Universe mixed in with glam, hard rock, and kabuki theater. That's exactly what it was.
It really was. It really is.
Yeah. And so the Kiss thing on 2020. I remember when that came out, my mom was watching it too, and I'm like, oh crap! If my mom watches this, she'll never let me talk about Kiss or listen to Kiss anymore. Because she's like, oh my, what? How gross! Oh, they're so gross. But if you're 10 years old, spitting blood and fire, I mean, that's what's not to like about that.
That's the coolest thing ever. I know. I was so bummed, and I was only when that came out. You said 78. I was 7-8 years old, so I'm crying. I'm like, okay, what Kiss? My friend saw it, and it was the next day at school. I was that guy. I was the only guy that couldn't watch it because his parents wouldn't let him. And why did you watch it? My mom didn't let me watch it. You're like, my mom didn't let me. Oh man, you stink. And Zach's right, and at least he's finally at peace. But it was so unexpected. He just comes out with this album, 10,000 Volts, and I don't know if you guys heard it, but it's a really good album.
It's a great album.
I love that song. That's my favorite song off the album. Just 10,000 Volts is just damn, don't.
It's a great riff, and that's the thing that and we'll read some tributes here from other people here. But
yeah.
That's the thing about Ace. everyone liked Ace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some people had their favorites, they'd pick, but it seemed like, at least among my friends, Ace was always the coolest one.
Yeah,
that's the one people. I mean, he had a guitar that burnt, that fire came out of it. I mean,
smokes and sparks,
and everything.
So cool.
And he'd slink around on the stage. He just was really laid back, and and it was he was the cool one, you know. Really and you go back and you look at, as Rich and I are both guitar players, right? Mm-hmm. We've both played for years and years and years. We should probably be we both should probably be way better than we are for how long we've played.
I know, right?
I can't speak for you, but for me,
I could definitely. I don't, man. I have the ear for music. I don't even know how to read music, dude.
No, me neither.
I hear it. I can tab it. I can play it. I just pick it up and go, oh, I know that riff, and I'll start playing. But yeah, definitely, I could be a lot better than what solos. I can mess around with the solo.
Yeah,
put one together, not so much. I can put a song together. Can't put a solo together to save my life.
But you think about the cool Ace riffs, right? He's the quintessential 70s rock guitarist, you know, Cold Gin, you know, just these cool riffs. They aren't hard, they aren't fancy, but they were cool, right? And I think that inspired
Strutter.
So many people.
One of my favorite.
Strutter. Yeah. Just
great song.
Just good stuff.
Let's talk about his solo career when he went solo. Because I was so excited when Frehley's Comet comes out. What was it, 86 or 88? It was like 86 or 88.
Probably 80, sometime around there.
It was right after, that was his first album after Kiss, and everyone made the big hoopla about Frehley's Comet. And I bought that album, and I don't know, was that the one with Rock Soldiers, or was that with Into the Night? I know one of them had.
I think Rock Soldiers is on that one.
Rock Soldiers, okay.
I think so.
Rock Soldiers, I can't remember, guys, so forgive me, but I know there were two big songs, and those were the two big songs from the Frehley's Comet years, and I loved Into the Night better. That was but he had the hook, always the hook, and the videos were so cool. The Rock Soldiers were all marching, and such a cool video, but it was so good to hear him. And then he just kind of never really grabbed anybody. And again, that's what we talked about on our last one, is the guitarist that named the band. It's the curse of the guitarist band names, or it's just the curse. That's another one. It was great songs. All the songs were pretty cool. There was a couple bangers on there, but ultimately it was so good. And then this next album came out, Into the Night. That was the biggest hook ever. Oh, how you do what you do. I love that song. We got, as a matter of fact, I'm going to put that on our rotation.
You should put it in, and Rock Soldiers.
Oh yeah, both of them are going in there. Yeah, thought of those this morning as I was reminiscing Ace Frehley years.
And we, before we started the call, we talked about this. I last night put on the Ace Frehley Kiss, the solo Kiss album, right? Of Ace Frehley. Rip It Out. Rip It Out is probably my favorite Ace Frehley song. But and by the way, the name, right? I grew up calling him Ace Frehley. I think most people did. Ace Frehley.
Yeah, that's what I called it.
And then when they called it Frehley's Comet, well, that didn't make sense. And then I heard, well, that's because you pronounce it Frehley. So it sounds like Haley's Comet. It's Frehley's Comet.
Oh, that makes sense.
But no. But then I saw an interview not too long ago where people are asking Ace how to pronounce it. He says, yeah, people say Frehley or they say Frehley. He says, I pronounce it Frehley. And he just says it really fast. Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley. Almost like Frehley, right? So when he pronounced it, it's like Frehley. Ace Frehley. But Frehley, it doesn't matter. But we grew up calling him Ace Frehley. Everyone called him Ace.
That's the way it was. Yeah. I think Kiss, I've heard Kiss call him that.
Totally. Yeah.
Ace Frehley. That was before.
I don't think he cared what you called him, right? But that solo album.
Yeah. I still have it. I still have that LP.
So do I.
It's all ripped up. The whole thing's ripped up.
Mine's in a little rough shape.
It's a rough condition.
Definitely the best of the solo albums.
Yes.
Of the Kiss solo albums.
Yeah.
But
10,000
here's
is close though. That's a good.
I agree.
Really dig that album. I really dug that album.
It's a great album.
And he was on tour. That's the shame part. He was on tour for that album. He probably would have came here to the Northern Quest, and we might have seen him, you know, on that tour, because we would have been like, "Hey, Frehley's coming. Let's go check him out." And wow, just a bummer.
So let me.
You know who's going to be bummed? Tommy London from Sirius XM's Ozzy's Bonus.
Oh, I bet
is the biggest fan.
Yeah,
and I know Eddie Trunk is too. Eddie Trunk helped him out, didn't he? Somehow he helped them do something. Eddie Trunk.
Oh, Eddie Trunk and Ace Frehley.
Yeah,
how you pronounce it?
Frehley.
Eddie Trunk and Ace.
They're really good friends.
Good
right?
friends.
Right.
Yeah, and they. So from way back, obviously Trunk was a fan, but in Ace's solo career, by that time Trunk was working radio in New York, and he was really promoting, and so they've been friends. In fact, let me read you what Trunk had to say. And Trunk's our age, you know.
He's totally our age. He does what we do, though. He
totally. So here's what I'll just read him from my phone here. Here's what Eddie Trunk had to say. Once I find it. I
saw that when I was reading today too.
Yeah, he said, and you know, I think Trunk had been in touch with the family throughout. Here's Eddie Trunk's statement. It has now been officially confirmed and released by the family. So he knew before it was released by the family that he had passed away. He might have been there. I don't know. Who knows? It has now been officially, because they were good friends. It has now been officially confirmed and released by the family that my friend of 40 years, Ace Frehley, has passed away. This is beyond words for me on many levels. My condolences to Jeanette, Monique, and all the fellow fans. I will air a special. And then he talks about what he will do. Listen to this from Gene Simmons. Our hearts are broken. Ace has passed on. No one can touch Ace's legacy. I know he loved the fans. He told me many times. Sadder still, Ace didn't live long enough to be honored at the Kennedy Center Honors event in December. Ace was the eternal rock soldier. Long may his legacy live. Cool. And then let me read what here's what Peter Criss said.
That's pretty cool.
Well,
he wants to say that.
Yeah, I'll read you what Paul Stanley said. Paul's is kind of an interesting. Well, here's what he said. And I'm sure he'll expound. He says, I remember 1974 being in my room at the Hyatt on Sunset in LA, and I heard someone playing deep and fiery guitar in the room next door. I thought, boy, I wish that guy was in our band. I looked over the balcony. It was Ace. It says, this is my favorite photo of us. And then let me just read what Peter Criss said. With a broken heart and deep, deep sadness, my brother Ace Frehley has passed away. He died peacefully with his family around him. My wife and I were with him to the end as well. I love you, my brother. My love and prayers go out to Jeanette, Monique, Charlie, and Nancy, and all of Ace's extended family, bandmates, fans, and friends. May the Lord comfort you at this difficult time. It continues. As a founding member of the rock group Kiss and in Ace's solo career, Ace influenced and touched the hearts of millions of people. His legacy will live on in the music industry and in the hearts of the Kiss Army. At this time, I ask all of you to please be respectful to Ace's family and allow them to grieve privately. To the Kiss Army and Ace's rock soldiers, my heart is with you all. Broken. And here's what I wanted to talk about. And you said it, right? And I've even seen some people saying that, you know, Gene and Paul treated Ace like treated Ace and Peter. And here's the thing. And I'm not defending, because you read about it, it's kind of it was all about business with Gene and Chris. However, and Ace has even said this, beneath all that legal mumbo jumbo, right? They were like brothers, and they will even say that's why they'd always get back together.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Gene and Paul are talking about how bad Ace and Peter were, they still would get together. And so I think
that was what's his name, Paul. That was Paul Bishop that talked smack like that, didn't he? He said Ace and what's his name couldn't play or something like that.
Yeah, could be, right. I know that there were some issues, right? There were some issues with both of Peter and Ace.
Yeah.
That, there were issues. So it takes two sides, right?
Yeah.
But beneath all of that, there's still a lot of love between them, and they would all say that. They beat up on each other and then say, but he's my brother. I love him. Right.
Yep.
So,
yep.
And it sadly, it takes something like a death sometimes for people to realize what's really important. Right.
And it's a shame. Like, I agree with you. And that's what I was thinking about, how I even said it before, as I bet Gene and Paul are just looking back going, ugh, was it worth it all, man? No, it
totally
wasn't. It wasn't worth it. It's never worth it, because I've done the same thing. I've had beef with somebody for years, and they just go away, or something happens where I'm definitely not talking to them again. And guess what? I miss it, and it's like, oh man, I should have, would have, could have, hindsight being 2020, should have been more friendly to him. Should have, because he did tour on their first farewell tour in like 2001, didn't he?
They did what was it? They went back to makeup in like 97 or 98, and they did a tour.
Yeah,
with Peter and
that was the Psycho
Ace.
Circus years.
Circus, they came back and they did that, and since then, Kiss has always kept the makeup on, because, to be honest, that's what we wanted, right?
Exactly. We all did. Oh yeah. It was cool with the no makeup for a while, but then as they kept going, what did they do? Like 5 or 6 albums with no makeup. I think it was like 4 or 5 or 6. I can't remember. They did a lot though. Asylum and Animalize, Look It Up, a few others, and they were good. But when they put their makeup back on, it was like, oh yeah, there you go.
This is what
and their act was times 10. It was just and it was so cool. I wish Ace was back with them though. I just wish he would have been back with them. Although I do like Paul. I like all, I've liked all Kiss members. They've been good, but just something about Ace Frehley in that.
And the thing, Kiss was a double punch, right? And and I don't mean this as a critique, right? Kiss would not have made it without the makeup. Let's be honest.
100%, right.
That was what grabbed people. It was the stage show. It was the image.
Yep.
The music was good enough, right? But like you said, once they took the makeup off, so Bruce Kulick is an awesome guitar player.
That's right. What did I say? Boss. I got Paul Bostoff it.
Bruce Kulick was the guitarist for most of that Unmasked year, and he's a great player.
Yes.
But like you said, Kiss is, you got to have both. Kiss is the fire and the blood and the makeup. Agreed. And it's the music, and they had some okay stuff.
Yeah, they went more hooky. They went hooky and glam metal, like
they became a hair band. Yeah,
hair band, and they were a good hair band. They had some great hooks. Yeah, Tears Are Falling is a pure glam song. It's awesome. It's a great song. Heaven's on Fire, great song.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good stuff out there, but there's nothing like. Yeah,
totally. Yeah,
that's
what we wanted,
man.
Yeah.
God, that's just so incredible, man.
That's what we wanted.
That's what I did want. I wanted that for a long time, but I thought he was going to tour on the final tour, and he didn't. And I know he was busy with his own stuff, but I thought he'd tour with him on the final tour. The final.
Now, here's
12 more tours. After 2001.
The 12th final tour. 12. Yeah. So here's this seems like such an unlikely pairing, right? But I've seen it in several interviews. Rush. Okay. So in a lot of ways, Rush and Kiss, polar opposites, right?
Yeah.
Rush, very technical, musically accomplished. Then you got Kiss. But like they were really good friends with the guys in Kiss. Yeah. Especially Ace, because Rush opened for them tons of times.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've seen Geddy and Neil both say this. They said, people will kind of knock on Kiss for their musicianship, but here's what we learned from Kiss: the work ethic, yes. Right? Mm-hmm. Geddy specifically talks about how you engage a crowd, how you make that person up in the nosebleed section feel like they're connected, right? Yeah. And Kiss is, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. They're masters at that. And so I think it was Kiss that might have nailed bathroom slippers in front of Rush's microphones to go with their bathrobes. I think that might have been the one. But they're good friends, right? And Ace and Alex, I know were good friends. Ace and Alex, I've seen interviews from Gene and I think Paul both, where they talk about how Ace and Alex were just such goofballs that they would just and Ace talked about how Alex Lifeson had this character where he'd put a paper bag over his head, and they were just nutballs, and that's what they did, right? And that seems like such an unlikely pairing, but they talk about how much Neil and Geddy both talk about how much they learned from Kiss. Yeah. Touring with them and opening for them. I thought that was
look at their legacy, man. They've been through so many different aspects of the group. How many movies? Decline of the Western Civilization Part 2. They were big stars in that movie, and they put on an act. That was a total act in that movie. Well, most of it. Let's say a lot of it.
Right.
The chicks were real. He was like, "Oh, the chicks are great," He's like, shallow dudes, but they did that on purpose, it was Gene and Paul. They were. Yeah. They were media hounds, man. They loved the attention. They loved negative attention, positive, whatever attention they can get. So, but just they're legends, man. And to listen to them, just like Ozzy, they were like Ozzy. They're like the godfathers of they're godfathers of metal too, really. Rock and hard rock and metal, and what shock rock. You say shock rock era. They're part of the shock rock era too.
Yeah.
So it's just with them having stories with Alex and just teaching them how to be a band and to make it and survive. Well, obviously something stuck.
Yeah.
You think about it. 2026, we're going on tour again. Still,
So, what's Ace's legacy? How are we going to remember him? How are you going to remember him? What's going to be the lasting legacy of Ace Frehley? What do you think?
I think it's got to be the earlier Kiss. It has to be. The solo stuff was great. With that career started with Kiss, and he had those great, heavier 70s sounding songs with that fuzz distortion, just the fuzz, you know what I'm saying? And it's so good. You can't deny it. Every song back then from Kiss was like, I thought they were corny when I first listened to them back in the day when I was a kid. Now I listen and go, dang, simple, easy, great sound, but the structure of the song.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to remember, and how how he didn't focus so much on solos. He was good, but he was more of a song composer. You know what I mean? He knew the songs so well, and he knew where to bridge. He knew where to let it ring. He knew, he just knew how to structure a song and which riff match. You know what I mean? That's how I remember him. Just the older Kiss stuff. I just love it. I love it.
My favorite Ace quote is, as he said, "If I would have known I was going to be an influence on so many people, I would have practiced a little more."
I know. That's what I'm saying. It was so simple riffs. I know you can play Kiss songs. Kiss is pretty. It's not that bad.
It's not complicated. But that just shows you, right? the best songs don't have to be in 7/8 time signature, right?
Exactly.
The best songs are not musicians. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, right? You look at a band like King Crimson, right? Who may be the most talented guys to ever play music.
Mm-hmm.
They are the most boring band you'll ever see, right?
I'm with you, brother.
And look at Kiss, simpler, visceral, but the coolest band ever. And that's how I'm going to remember Ace. He's just, one word for Ace is he's cool. I mean, you see pictures of him. Yeah. He's cool, man.
The fades and goatee.
Oh, dude, he was cool.
Yeah.
And he was funny. He was always funny. Yeah. None of this moody, angsty, artistic crap. He was just cool.
He was one of us. He was just one of us.
He was
someone.
That's the perfect way.
Yeah, yes. He was one of us. He was someone you can relate to. One of those guys that you can just relate to. He lived life like he was humble. He was humble. Yeah. That was the big thing. Is you make it big. Those are the guys that get the big head and you just don't want to talk to you. But the humble ones that still thankful that the fans are still listening to them and just so thankful and grateful. That's what makes a good rock star, man. And
I agree.
He was it. He was the mold, one of the molds that everyone really should follow.
And when you think about the 1970s, there are 3 or 4 things that jump out at you. To me, pop culture wise, you got Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
You got Kiss.
Yes. 100%.
What else do you have? I mean, those are when I think of the 70s, those are the first 2 things that I think of. Star Wars and Kiss.
And the Ice Cream Man.
the ice cream. Yeah. Hey, Frank, thanks for chiming in.
Hey, Frank.
Frank, were you a Kiss fan? I don't remember.
Well, he listened to that. Did you ever know in the 90s? That's why I like Psycho Circus so much, is because that was when computers were first kind of getting bigger and all that stuff. Kiss made a video game. I don't know if you ever played it. It was on the computer, and it was like you had to go through the Psycho Circus. It was the best video game I think I've ever played, and I loved every minute of it. It was scary. It was like really scary. So you'd like turn a corner and someone jump out at you and come after you, and you'd be like, you'd die because you wouldn't have your hand on the controllers. But that was a great video game,
Here's another thing. I just thought about this. Paul Lynde. Anyone that watched Hollywood Squares?
Yeah, he was Center Square.
Center Square. He, for a short time, had a variety show. I mean, it wasn't on for long. He had a Halloween special, and Kiss was on it. And I remember my folks had been somewhere, and they came home, and we're on the couch watching Kiss on Paul Lynde. They're like, "What are you guys watching?"
Hey, Frank answered. I was a huge Kiss fan when I first discovered them, and they were like superheroes to me. I was a huge Gene Simmons fan, weren't we all? Because I thought he had the best costume, the Demon, of course. I do Kiss marathons from time to time.
That's awesome.
2 weeks straight. I do that with many bands. Well, Kiss is always on. I listen to Ozzy's Boneyard a lot. And Hair Nation, so I flop back and forth. And Tommy London, if you don't know from Sirius XM, he is a huge Kiss fan. Kiss Army. So is Mark Striegel. Really, they're both Kiss fans. So you hear Kiss all day long on if you listen to Boneyard. So Frank, I listen to him that way, but I've been listening to him, for the last few weeks too, and they just keep coming on the radio.
There's a. It seems like. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seemed like there was a period where it wasn't cool. Kiss wasn't cool, right? It wasn't cool to like Kiss.
That was early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah, like in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Now, thank goodness, all of us guys that grew up with Kiss and gals, guys and gals that grew up with Kiss, we're like, dude, Kiss was cool.
Great.
Yeah, I'm gonna play I'm gonna wear my Kiss shirt.
Yeah, I had to. I came close with my Maiden shirt. I don't have a Kiss.
Yeah, that's right. so you know what? And that's when I love, like, when someone like Steve Vai comes out and says, "Dude, I loved Kiss. I was a huge Kiss fan." Right?
Yep.
And they were cool. they were bigger than music.
They were.
Okay?
They were.
And there aren't many musical acts that you could say they transcended music. Kiss. Now, obviously, the Beatles were a big band, and I'm not going to say that Kiss was as important as the Beatles musically.
Different situations.
But I would say this culturally. I mean, Kiss transcended music. They were everywhere. Kiss lunchboxes, movies, toys. I mean, the marketing machine. Kiss was everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. They're everywhere. Everyone knew the symbol KISS. If they saw Kiss, they never say, "Let's kiss." Everybody knew. Look what Frank said. That's funny, man. Yeah, when they took, Vinnie Vincent's invasion.
He did look like a teenage girl with a fake ID,
especially when he was trying to look tough, walking and licking up. He's like,
"Oh yeah."
I'm like, this guy. I just walk up and be like, "Boink, get out of my face."
Paul Stanley tells a funny story. Remember, Frank, you were probably there. Sunday night, MTV, the big reveal when Kiss would be unmasked. We all stayed up to watch J.J. Johnson, a special, to unmask Kiss, and you saw Gene and Paul. Of course, you didn't care about Eric and Vinny, but Gene and Paul, you saw them unmasked. You're like, oh, and then they debuted Lick It Up. And Paul Stanley tells a funny story. If you look on the album cover of Lick It Up, by the way, is a great album.
The whole album's badass. Yeah, it's a good one.
And this is a whole other episode. My contention is, had they not done the unmasking and Lick It Up, Kiss would have been done in the early 80s. I really think they would have been done. That gave them another 10 years. Mm-hmm. And then they came back to the makeup, and then by then the kids of their fans were coming back and becoming fans. So it was a very smart thing. Yep. But Paul tells a funny story of, if you notice the cover of Lick It Up, Vinnie Vincent has the big puffy hairband hair, like everyone does, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's wearing a wig. So when they come to record the video, Vinnie didn't want to wear the wig. Yeah. So he's got the kind of limp, flat teenage girl hair that Frank
Madonna. Wasn't he wearing like a pink?
Madonna? Yeah, he's wearing like pink, and he's got leopardy boots on, or something, or maybe that's Paul with the leopard.
That was one thing I didn't like. I love the video. I love the whole sound, but that Vinnie Vincent, I was like, I don't like that guy. I never liked that dude. I just didn't.
Yeah. This is true. Eric Carr looks so awkward in that video, and as a drummer, I was always bothered with his lack of swagger and rhythm in the Lick It Up video. Plus, he's like 4'8". Yeah, I mean, I'm not picking on short people here, but yeah, he's a short little guy. But Frank, and I don't know if you meant it in this context. This sums up Kiss, right?
Yeah.
Frank says it's fun. Kiss was fun.
It was fun.
And Ace was fun. And what you said, Rich, is so appropriate. It seems corny now, but back then they were bad boys. You weren't supposed to watch that.
Nope.
That blood, that flames,
the devil,
demon. There were preachers that would preach about how evil.
Remember, that was like going into the PMRC years.
Totally
into a 79, 80, 81. That was when all the Chipper Gore started throwing her.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden Ozzy was the demon, the devil, and Kiss was definitely what does Kiss stand for? What was it?
Knights in Satan's service.
Yeah, Knights in Satan's service. Yeah.
Yeah.
They went off on all that. No, they were demons and devil worshippers.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But that was just part of growing up in the 70s.
Now fast forward to like 3 years ago. Did you see the stream that they did? I did.
From
Dubai.
Saudi Arabia or Dubai?
Yes.
I saw
it was one of the best shows I have seen. Awesome. We had such a good time watching it. I mean, people on the balconies, they were playing. People were on the balconies, like, just like you were saying, they could find that person way up. They're like half a mile away in this little, well, half a mile. I'm exaggerating. They're far away, and they're up in a 10-story, 20-story building on their balconies watching them play. And they like turned up the distortion a little bit, so they sounded really heavy, especially when God of Thunder came on. Oh, it was so good. You know, it was just really good. But they sounded so good, and they were fun. The whole concert was fun. Sang along to everything. They played a few newer songs, but the old ones were just great. And nothing special about it. Sloppy, but fun. You know, just
totally.
Good. They were tight. I call it sloppy, but that was, you know.
Isn't that what the best rock and roll is, really, when you think about it? I mean, AC/DC, I mean, some would say they're the greatest rock band ever.
Yeah.
They're not building violins.
Right.
I mean, it's loud and it's dirty and it's messy, and that's what rock and roll is.
Grinding it out. And Frank, that we talked about that earlier, where Kiss, their song structure was so good. The songs just went together and they were fun to play, and they were gritty. They were just fun, and just they even sounded sloppy, you know, like they didn't produce it right, but I think they meant it just to make it sound like that.
And you know, one of the guys that came in, Mark St. John.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember him.
Did he play on an album? I can't remember if he even played on an album.
Wasn't that what album
was that? Was that Animalize? No.
That might have been Asylum. I don't know.
Anyways, here's the thing. Mark St. John was like, and even Vinnie Vincent to a certain extent, they wanted to be Randy Rhoads, right? They wanted to show that they could play all the scales and do all the cool stuff. And you know, Paul and Gene would say, dude, just play something like Jimmy Page. Play more like Jimmy Page or Eric Clapton. And then Mark St. John, and here's the problem.
Oh, you're right. Animalize.
Animalize. Mark St. John says, Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, I play way faster than them. And it's like, dude, no one wants to see you noodling around fast. Right. We want some riffage. We want some swagger like Ace had. And Ace did.
Yes.
You know?
Who would you rather listen to? I mean, think of it that way. Kiss or Yngwie Malmsteen?
I'd rather listen to Kiss.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly. Because they're fun. You can sing along. You know, there's one song off the album that you may sing along to in Yngwie, but you know, you're going to sing all the songs off the Kiss album. Totally. And that's what it was. I'm just throwing that as an example. Like a good band, a good guitar player, all the musicians in the band are top notch, top shelf, but they can't put a song together to save their lives, to make it snappy. It's got to be snappy.
Right.
And Kiss did that perfectly.
And so Kiss producers, right? Some of the albums, you mentioned it at the Dubai show, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the first Kiss album, if you've never listened to the first Kiss albums front to back, there's like 4 of their classics are on the first album. So it's a great album.
Yeah. Isn't Fort Rock City's on that first album, isn't it?
I think it's on a later one, but it has like
I can't remember what's on the first.
There's a bunch. I was surprised
at so many albums
there were on how many of their big songs were on the first one. But live, there's a heaviness there that you don't necessarily hear on the earlier albums, right? The early albums feel a little more, I don't know, wimpy, right? Just because there's a producer. It's the way they were produced, right? But then when you hear them live, it's like, whoa, yeah, that sounds pretty good. So anyways,
we're looking at, I was just looking at their discography. See, it's either Kiss. Yeah. February 18th, 1974.
What are the
Deuce, Strutter, Firehouse, Black Diamond, Cold Gin.
Okay. There's 4, those, right? Those of those 5 you said, those 4 are maybe my 4 favorites, right? I love those.
Yeah.
Those are, those are just classic.
Those are good songs. Albums. Yeah. Cold Gin's, you know. Strutter, you know, I told you
Strutter,
that's one of my favorite Kiss.
I love Black Diamond. That's always been one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, it is a good song, but I'm just thinking of, I love Strutter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they played that live. They played it for the first time, or in years. I think it was at that Dubai show where they played it. They played Strutter, and it was like a big thing. They played Strutter last night. Oh my gosh, they never played Strutter for years. So
yeah,
he wasn't on that.
Yeah, I know that would have been cool. And a lot of people were hoping that at the final end of the road show that they would bring back Ace and bring
The
back
Madison
Peter.
Square Garden.
Yeah, and even Bruce Kulick, they should have brought everyone back and done something, but it didn't happen. But as we wrap this up, I think Ace will be remembered. Like I said, he was cool, man. He was cool. He was a rock star. Yeah, he was just iconic, right? And so many of us that later went on to start our garage bands, and some people had, you know, I have obviously not had any musical success other than playing in a dad band. Frank makes money playing music, and I bet Ace was an inspiration to him, you know. So very inspiring, and just a fun guy, a fun personality. I always like interviews with Ace, and I'll miss him because he's never stopped. Okay, he's always been been playing shows and doing stuff, and just his sense of fun. Talking. Yeah,
I just can't fathom what happened. I can't wait to hear the whole. I mean, he fell, hit his head, and brain hemorrhage. I think maybe, who knows? It just sucks. Man, it sucks.
Yeah, Frank says, I was smart and didn't chase music as a career, but as a side gig. Okay, good. That is smart. Yes. Yeah.
That's what I did too, Frank. I was going the rock star route, and it wasn't doing so good. So I kind of did a side shift to the Army. Yeah. It worked out. I'm recording an album right now, but it's all a side gig, you know?
Yeah. And by the way, Rich, we have to make you share your album with us when we're done. I've heard Rich's stuff, and it's actually really good. So it's
really heavy though, guys. I'm a metal guy, so
he's
really,
a metalhead. Really he's one of those metalhead.
It's very heavy. But my son, actually, I taught him how to play the drums, and he started picking it up. And he started watching Portnoy videos and started learning from the best. So he's been doing really well, and he's come a long way. And we were up to 5 songs now. We got 10 more to go. Well, we're done with 5. We've got 10 more to go. It takes a while to get a song down because he's a new drummer.
Well, and the nice thing, as the music director of Classic Guitar Rock Radio, you can sneak your own songs in there too. You know, I'm just saying.
And I will.
Yeah.
We'll have a whole release party. We'll just sit here and have a release party live. Why not? It'll be fun. We got nothing else to do. Well, I don't. You do.
Yeah. Frank says the DJing thing is what really gave me the rock star status, but I always stayed with the instruments. Also, I'm still 100% vinyl to this day. Wow.
That's awesome. I'm digital, sorry to say, but I do collect vinyls of the good albums. I buy the good albums on vinyl.
I will say this, Frank. I will say this. I know I'll sound like the old man yelling at kids to get off the lawn. Nothing drives me more crazy than seeing these DJs in front of a big crowd playing their laptops. You know, at least Frank plays vinyl. He's scratching and doing stuff for real, you know,
that's what he meant 100% vinyl. My bad, dog. My bad, dog. I thought he was talking about his collection. You're doing DJ vinyl. Got it.
Frank says, don't get me started.
I'm DJing. You ready?
Dude,
here we go. I'm the DJ tonight.
It was art. It was art when you saw a guy working the turntables and scratching and all of that, and beat mixing.
And he's listening. He's listening while the other song's playing. Getting it all.
Frank actually knows. Frank actually knows what those dots on the side of a Technics turntable are for. I bet. Right.
Sure.
So, that's a whole nother show we can do. We should have Frank come on sometime, and we'll do that. Though to be honest, Frank, we don't really play a lot of that club music. You know that, right? However, a lot of the early DJs, that's what they did. They'd take like an Aerosmith song, or they'd take a rock album and they'd add them to the mix, and it was Yeah, it was cool. Oh yeah, Frank. I know Frank.
Yeah,
Frank plays it all. Yeah.
Hey, we should have told the Def Leppard crew to find Frank instead of
Dude.
DJ Matt.
Yeah.
Remember DJ Matty?
So we went and saw Def Leppard last like October or something, or
like
September.
That,
and the opening act was supposed to be the Jason Bonham Zeppelin Experience, which dude, I was almost as excited about seeing that as Def Leppard.
Me too.
And then at the last minute, I think Jason Bonham's mom passed or was about to pass away.
Yep.
So he had to go back to England. They had to cancel him. And they bring in this local guy called DJ Matty, who literally was a single guy playing his laptop. He was playing
some cool songs, but it was just like the house music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they could have got rid of him and just played songs
music
at a louder decibel level.
Yeah.
All right, you rockers. He was saying rockers, like, hey, rockers, hey, let's listen to this now.
It was dumb.
Like Poison, and you're like, oh my God.
So, anyways, we've gotten all off track now.
We have.
We wanted to come together, talk about Ace really quick.
Right.
Pay a little tribute to him. He will be missed for sure.
Yes.
And
definitely will.
I really like the idea of adding some more of those Ace tunes. I think we already have Rip It Out in the rotation.
I'll check it out. I'm going to go do that right after this. I'm going to add
perfect.
Add Rock Soldiers, and I'm going to add Into the Night.
Perfect.
And I'm going to probably add his stuff. Do we still have 10,000 volts playing? I think I just stopped that.
Yeah, we could put some more.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just liked his. Well, and I'll put it in the regular rotation.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Just put it in regular rotation.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I'll put a few Ace Frehley songs in the rotation. Classic Guitar Rock Radio, guys, come check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, classicguitarrock.net. If you go there, you can check out the podcast and the radio station.
Tonight,
Frank and Zach, thank you doing it. Oh, and tonight
and tomorrow, Classic Metal Vault. Don't forget, I know if there's a metalhead out there, come on, check it out. We got a new format, and it's sounding really good. I love every show now. I used to put them together. Now it's kind of put together a little randomly. It's awesome. It's
7 o'clock Pacific.
7 o'clock tonight, and then 4 p.m. tomorrow, and 4 a.m. tomorrow, actually. Pacific, all Pacific time.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, we do one in the middle of the night for folks in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK. Yeah, and the 4 p.m. I listen to the 4 p.m. one. Sometimes I listen to the Friday night one if I'm not busy. I know everyone gets busy on their Friday night, especially at our age. We got stuff to do. But Saturday at 4 p.m. is the perfect time. Working in the garage or whatever. Turn that stuff up and crank it. Crank it.
Yeah, crank it. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Rest in peace, Spaceman.
Yep.
Thanks for the memories. And guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.